Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode. We're here at the Bone Palace again. This is the last episode, unless it gets split on two, before we return to the main storyline. So pretty much last episode we were looking at Joko, and we sort of explored all that kind of side of the story. But the other half of the story is the side to do with Ossa, who after he defeated Joko, reunited the nation and sort of forged Elona anew, he then became a bit obsessed with his own spirituality, just like Varesh. And he started seeking ascension, the process of becoming closer to the gods, and he knew to do that he had to go north. So he led a whole bunch of Elonians foolishly north on this thing called the Great Pilgrimage, and they ended up, most of them died before they got there, but they ended up in the Crystal Desert where all kinds of things fell on them, they failed to ascend, and they all died. So this episode is going to be looking at some of the quests, talking about the families and the people who died on this great pilgrimage. So we're going to start by coming out here into the Alkali Pan. And yes, like I've said many times, there are other quests around here. Like there's a few about some ghosts who were here ages ago from Ascalon, and like they're on some pilgrimage looking for remnant evidence of the fact this used to be underwater. And they actually think Rin is still standing, which is quite funny. I was going to do an episode about them, but you know what? It's not that interesting. Pretty much all I've told you everything that's really interesting about it. Let's go this way. I don't want to fight those. There's no point fighting things that you don't have to fight. Right, and this time we're going to be going... the ruins of Moro are here, if you remember, but we're going to be going north to a place... called the Ruptured Heart. I'm not 100% sure exactly what way it is though, so you have to bear with me. I'm pretty sure it's up there though. Okay, so yeah, let's speed it up. Oh no, my mistake. So we've actually got to go this way, and we'll be going right around past the ruins of Mora, and up through this sort of sandy bit here, and that will take us to the area we want to go. I quite like this walk actually, because there's nothing to fight here except maybe if some worms pop up. Okay, so while we're walking here, I actually found a pretty cool page on the Guild Wars wiki to do with the nation that Churai formed up north. I was just mentioning the Great Pilgrimage, and this is kind of a decent summary of everything we kind of learned in Prophecies, all sort of smashed together, and it's quite a cool page. So I figure, you know, we'll fill the blank time with me reading it out. So what actually happened is when Churai got to north, he obviously came from Elona. This whole continent is called Elona. But when he got to the north, he named the lands up there and the people that moved there. They named the lands Elonia. Okay, so they called the Crystal Desert Elonia. And when we're actually up there in Prophecies, we get that name quite a lot. And actually, when I first started playing Guild Wars Nightfall, I thought that the southern areas were still called Elonia. So I actually put the name Elonia in my character name, which I've only just recently found out isn't actually necessarily bad, because the nation of Elonia did exist. Anyway, I'm rambling. So this is what the wiki page says. Elonia was a nation founded by Ossa and others from Elona as they travelled through the Crystal Desert in their attempts to ascend during the Great Pilgrimage. When the Elonians reached the Crystal Desert, they waged war on the Forgotten, assuming them to be mindless beasts. Sometime after settling down and building structures, the inhabitants of Elonia attempted to build the Temple of Ascension, but the workers were slaughtered by the Forgotten. Eventually, the people grew suspicious of their neighbours too, and began to wage battles on one another, creating schism after schism. Initially, the people were split in two. There were those who moved into the region of Elona Reach, and there were also those who moved into the region of the Arid Sea. And we'll see the Arid Sea later on in this episode, by the way, guys. Both of those groups had their own schisms as well. Those in Elona Reach divided themselves between the three groups, each having a separate vision kit crystal, and they were each led by a ritual priest. And they've got their three names written there. Those who went into the Arid Sea had also fought amongst themselves until one of them had created an ancient weapon which destroyed their entire city and shook the land around it. And in fact, you guys will remember I did an episode about that ancient weapon, and I also showed you a portal which we'll also be looking at later on in the episode. See, so it's all kind of related. And finally the page ends by saying, now all of those who lived in Elonia are dead. So that's kind of what happened at the end of the Great Pilgrimage, what all of this was about. And I just quite like that page, so I thought I'd read it out while we were watching this speed up. So yeah, I'll hand you back to myself. Right, here we go. You can see that big kind of gate there. With Mora on our right, you can see we passed quite close to it, actually. We actually moved past and around the side. And this will take us to the Ruptured Heart. I'm just trying to sneak past. Hopefully they won't kill me. Good stuff. Okay. Right, so yeah, this is the Ruptured Heart. Oh god, why did I fall over? Right, so the Ruptured Heart, it's kind of like the Unwaking Waters in Factions, if you remember those, because kind of in the centre, you remember that thing that we saw with General Morgan in the cutscene, with that's the Mouth of Torment, sort of right in the middle, and the Ruptured Heart all around it is kind of this kind of big ring, I suppose you could say, and it just slowly becomes more and more corrupt as you get sort of to the centre, right where Abaddon fell, right in the middle of this explorable, and that is where Varish is. Anyway, here's the quest that I wanted to show you, the first of two. And this is from this person here called Ganji, who says, "We left on a pilgrimage in the hopes of reaching Augury Rock to witness the ascension grounds with our own eyes, but the elements proved too much for us to withstand. Every one of us succumbed along the way. Even in death, we strive to complete our journey. Until we reach our destination, we will never rest. Please reunite our caravan and lead the way so that we may complete our final walk." Okay, so come with me. And this quest, really, we're just going to be wandering around the Ruptured Heart, figuring out where these people died. So, I think first we find out where he died, or how he died. I only say that because his spirit's here, so kind of would make sense. So yeah, if you look on the inside, sort of towards Mora, you can just kind of see how much more worse things get. Sort of these big black rocks and stuff. Lots of giants around. I won't fight them if I don't have to, since I quite like the giants. Since they're not trying to destroy the world, they just live up here and need to eat. Having said that, I can't have them coming up behind me, so... Okay, and there's some bleached bones here. I'm going to be talking about these a little bit more later. But if you remember, we saw a lot of these up in the Crystal Desert. There were even some in Factions near the start, if you can remember. Oh, Cam's speaking. He says, "I can still hear the shrill cries of that moment when a hideous beast first attacked our line. It was right here that it happened. We had evaded it for many days, but with all the rumbling beneath us, we all knew it was inevitable. The storms kicked up something fierce. Blinded by biting wind and searing sand, we had little chance. It was so sudden I barely had time to feel the pain. In an instant the world turned black, and I was inside the belly of the beast. At least the others made it further than me. Here is where my last steps were made. My last breaths were taken." Right, so that was Cram, not Ganji, that was speaking to us there. Okay. Ganji says, "I remember when crossing the desert was a warrior's mark of accomplishment. My pride sent me out with only enough food and water to last 1 day. The journey took 3. My travel left my lips burnt, my eyes longing for something beyond the next June. My pride died in the hungry wind. My body too. Now I am nothing more than this sand. I no longer desire to make the trip to the dunes, but strive to help the others succeed where I once failed." Wow, okay. See, this is what I love. I love it. I love these plots where it's so dark. "I had high hopes we'd make this journey with minimal loss. Amazing how a few sandstorms and rampaging creatures can change your plans." Well, he seems a little... still reasonably happy. Okay, so let's go this way. And hopefully we can ride the Janudu. I know sort of in the middle it's way too rocky here at the Ruptured Heart. It's way too rocky and corrupted to ride the Janudu. But on the outside I think it's mostly sands around that you can ride in. So let's see what we can do. I don't think there's too much sulphurous waste here either. There's a treasure. That's something I've not been showing you guys much of, and I was hoping to show you a lot of. You remember the treasure that we've kind of been seeing through? Way back down in where we first came in the sulphurous waste. There's a couple of quests you can do around here, and there's a temple down here, a temple that the monoliths seem to have built recently, or it's an old temple, sorry, that's recently been restored, and loads of monoliths have appeared there. And it's actually an old temple to Abaddon, and in that temple, what is the point of having the Janudu here? Look at this. This is ridiculous. You can't go anywhere with them. Yeah, and in that temple, sorry, there's a treasure chest, and there's also some treasure up here, I believe, which I might be able to show you while we're on this quest. Right, so the next quest marker's here. Behind all these horrible looking trees and things. Oh, here we go. Okay, so more bleached bones. Is the spirit going to come out of them? Is that what's happening? It just says quest updated. Do we get... Oh no, there is someone here. She says it was here that the dunes began to all look the same. Allura is her name. We wandered in circles for what felt like days. Our rations ran dry. With little food and no water, the desert consumed us after scorching our skin. It doesn't seem too hot here anymore. I guess that's because nightfall's come and sort of making everything dark. Is that all you have to say? I wonder if the bones have got a story. No, they don't. Okay. Right, let's move on. Next marker is north. Okay, and we'll see a portal in a minute to an explorable area. You see this door here? To the Crystal Overlook. Now, the Crystal Overlook is the place where the second quest we're going to be doing is, and it's probably one of my favourite quests in all of Nightfall. So yeah, looking forward to that. This is, the Crystal Overlook is an entirely optional explorable area, much like this one is, much like much of the Desolation is. And it's the place that is closest to the Crystal Desert. As I said before in the other episode, you can just see how the map looks different up there, and it's the same kind of colour as the Crystal Desert is. Oh, does she have anything specific to say? Oh, she says, I had heard that the path was easy to follow, but who knew that the landmarks would be so obscure? I was told that you could see augury rock from across the desert, but the heat masked our visibility. We got turned around and then the dunes began to all look the same. So, augury rock is the place that we went to in Prophecies. And in fact, I've actually off camera taken this character, Matt Greenspring, through Prophecies to the point where we reach augury rock, because... this quest and the next quest are pretty cool where that's concerned, and kind of you need to have been there to fully appreciate what the quests are about, or to even get the quest really. So that is what I've done off camera, just so that you guys know. In the other episode you might have noticed I've had this quest here, Terror Interior. That was just left over from me going there. Where are we headed? North, more north, north. Okay, up here, past these giants. Or should I go across the bridge? Nah, let's go over the giants. God, just look how deadly that is. You've got the waste and these massive thorns crisscrossing all over the place. You would not want to fall down there. Right, next area. I believe this might be the last. Is it the last? Walk to the spot where Shanaja and her daughter were lost. Ooh. Okay, quest updated, pilgrimage. We're at the bones. And here she is. She says, so hot, my lips burned and skin cracked. The pain was excruciating. I did not realise my little girl had left my side. I looked down and saw she was missing, so I broke the line to look for her. This is always the way it goes. The child runs off and the parents go off, and it compromises the whole thing. The sandstorm quickly covered her small tracks. It was through sheer luck that I found her hiding behind a rock. Our reunion was bittersweet. Though we were together, we were alone. We never found the caravan, and we died the next day. That's just very typical kind of horror movie stuff, isn't it, really? She says, it only took a moment for things to turn bad. My daughter wandered outside of our caravan. By the time I had found her, the others were too far ahead, their tracks covered by sand and wind. Okay, reunite the spirits with Shahine to complete their pilgrimage. Right, oh, and Shahine's all the way over there. I think that's okay, though. You might think, oh, for God's sake, more walking, which is probably what I think. But I think that's near the treasure chest that I was talking about as well. So, let's go. Plus, you know, it's a pilgrimage. It's nice to have a bit of distance. As far as I can see, there's no enemies or anything here. And we're on rock, so no mandragores are going to pop up. Hooray! If they pop up now, I'll be seriously pissed off. There's some giants, but I think I can evade them. Sadistic giants. I love the giants here. They look pretty cool. I wonder if they're in any way related to the giants that we saw in Factions, the ones that lived on the mountains. You know, the yetis and stuff. Not too far yet. Oh, this went much quicker than I thought it was going to. Looks like we might have to go through some waste to get to them. They might even be right where the chest is. How cool would that be? Something in the back of my mind's telling me that they're going to be. Right, so we get on a worm over there, and then run all the way around. I wonder what this person has to offer us. Oh wow, there's not even anyone at this shrine. Oh, cool. Okay. Nobody even here to give us a bounty. Wonderful. Right. Where was that Janudi thing? Oh, all the way over there. Lame. I feel pretty awesome right now. I've managed to evade everything that's patrolling around on this field, and I don't even have a compass. Hell yeah. I'm not going to be able to evade these things, though. These are right where we need to go. So, go on through the sulfur, sorry. I think it's a nice touch as well, actually, that they don't put any of the giants, any of the native giants. You never see any of them in the wastes. So they're still very much. They still kind of emphasise the fact that these aren't like massively powerful demon things. They are still living things, and they do still have the same restrictions as everyone else. They can't go into these deadly wastes. The only things you see here are the demonic, the Marganites and their demons with them, the undead. Or these like animated rocks, the earth elementals. Oh god, there's a big worm. There's a big worm. Hello, big worm. Hey, he dropped an ancient Elonian key. Yay! Let's hope we find a chest, since we're nearing our end in the Desolation. So, right then, up we come. And what have we got? Two elementals, and the last guy is up there. Let's try and hit these without going out of the rock. Damn it. There we go. And I'm sure, guys, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right that this is where the treasure chest is. There it is. Okay, so let's grab this first. Buried treasure. And what have we got? We got some battered armor and over 2,000 gold. Okay, so if you play the game, that is an easy way to get money. I mean, there are easier ways probably now, but back when Nightfall came out, this was pretty good. Okay, here's the last guy. So he says, "You are the same Matt Greenspring that I have heard about through the winds, are you not? Gathering these lost souls so that they might continue their journey to the point of ascension is a very noble deed, and I thank you for the kind gesture." The sad thing is, I did this, but Chirai also, when we met his ghost, Chirai actually said, immortals, people who are dead, can't actually ascend. It's only mortals that can ascend, so these guys are pretty much doomed. Anyway, please accept this small token as my thanks for releasing my dear friends from torment and sending us back on our journey to Augury Rock. Well, you're still a long way away, mate. Perhaps we shall see you again someday if you ever choose to journey to that sacred place. And remember that last line, because as I said, I've got this character to Augury Rock, so at the end of this episode, we'll go there and we'll see what's going on. Right, okay, so I'm going to cut it now, guys. Remember this portal to the Crystal Overlook? I'm headed there, so I will see you in a moment. Oh, okay, on my way I found a chest. Let's grab it. Let's open it up, use the key. And we got fucking purple water wands. Chests have never been nice to me. Have you guys noticed that? In this LP, whenever I've used a chest, like, it's almost always a purple. And it's almost always a wand. Something, like some kind of magical equipment. I've only ever played physical characters in these LPs. Useless. Absolutely useless. Okay, never mind. Wow, why did I just get some experience? Oh, there's some giants that attacked us. Never mind. Oh shit, and more. Okay, here we go. So this is the Crystal Overlook. And it's pretty cool. It's another, as I've said, it's another thing. There's only one quest you can do here. There is stuff in the middle of it, which I will show you in a much later episode. There's one other little thing that you can see here. But otherwise, it's just a pretty cool explorable area in Alona that looks very much like, not all of it, obviously the Crystal Desert doesn't really look very much like this, but we'll move on in a minute to the main area, and you'll see it looks very much like the Crystal Desert to the north, and that's because we're very, very close to it now. And this one quest is to do with, again, like I said at the start of this episode, it's to do with the people who died on their pilgrimages and never made it the whole way. Now, I can't quite remember the correct way. I don't think I'm going the right way. Oh yeah, and there's lots of Jinn here as well, which are horrible because they do a lot of damage. The fire ones do, at least. Let's go down here. Okay, guys, just as I thought, I had to split the episode, so I will see you next time. As I've said, this is one of my favourite quests coming up, so do stay tuned. See you next time.